Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That's Tyler.
What it is, sir?
How are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
A little scramble today, Monday, after a weekend completely away and completely out of pocket. Kind of scrambling to catch up a little bit.
Leveled my yard this weekend. I forgot to tell you that before we started.
Oh, like brought the dirt and all that stuff.
Yeah, how about that? We ended up putting like 1,400 pounds of sand in the front yard.
Oh, so right now your house looks like the beach.
Not really, man, because look, we were scrambling to get it in before the rain hit.
Mm-hmm.
And the rain kind of
washed it on in.
We aerated it, seeded it, fertilized it, and leveled it.
How about that?
How about that? Did a little manual labor.
That's impressive.
My niece graduated from Clemson. Shout out to Hagen. Congratulations.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to your daughter for graduating
Thank you.
from Arkansas.
Yep.
And then, so I had the boys this weekend, so we did a little manual labor.
Put them to work, huh?
Put them to work. A little manual labor. Get them, get your mind right.
Never hurt anybody.
Never hurt anybody. I did most of the work except Brock did some lifting. So I did all the leveling. He did all the carrying, little rehab stint for him there. Get his rehab in.
For the knee.
Yeah. So he's getting closer. He's doing better. So had a good week last week. So starting to turn the corner a little bit, turn the page a little bit. So hopefully that works out good. And
yes, I'm still watching. Stop asking. I'm watching till it's over.
How long is this thing gonna last, you think?
I probably have another 2-3 weeks.
Really?
I'd guess. I think the state's getting close to resting.
So I watched that show. It was on Hulu, by the way. The one you said was on Netflix. I found it.
Oh, the Karen Reed doc?
It was on Hulu.
Okay.
So I watched it. I was completely didn't know anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just what you've told me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. The evidence. It is interesting.
Yeah,
so
it's that.
Yeah. I don't know how you can I don't think you can convict her on that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Common sense. Not a lot of common sense these days though.
Yeah. The people trying to convict her are law enforcement.
I wonder why. That's what happened.
They seem to want someone to take the hit for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's
a lot there.
But yeah, no, I
had it on in the hotel room Friday morning, and Laura's like, I don't get it.
Oh, you were watching it on the road. You carried it with you.
Well, we got back we ran some errands, and we went for we found this place. We've been up there a lot the last 6 years. So we found some places to like go for walks and stuff. And we found there's a place that in Bentonville you walk 2 miles and there's a little coffee shop and then you walk back. So we did the 4-mile walk. And we got back and she was taking a shower and stuff to get ready to go to Caroline's first ceremony on Friday. And so I turned the TV on and flipped to Court TV and kind of got my fix.
All right, so you got Game 7 of the Thunder Nuggets.
Yeah.
Or the jury decision.
Ooh.
And you can only watch one.
Ooh.
Live. Now, you can go back and watch replays.
I mean, I'd watch Game 7, but man, I'd be really curious.
What if you couldn't watch the other one? You couldn't ever find out what happened. What would you do?
Well, I guess I'd know with the Thunder, if they played another game, that meant they won. And if they didn't play again until October, that meant they lost. I guess I'd watch the Karen Reed verdict.
What about watching the Cubs playoff, full series, the Cubs' first playoff?
I'd skip it. The Karen Reed.
About World Series. Cubs World Series.
You know what's funny, man? And not to get into this conversation, but like, I'm
trying to see how into this you are.
I'm really into it. It's May the 12th. The Cubs are technically in first place.
They're good.
And I just don't care.
It's because it's May.
I don't, maybe.
If it's,
but like,
if
but
we're
like
having
right now,
if we're having the same conversation, I guarantee, because I know you this well, if we're having the same conversation about the Cubs in a pennant chase in September, you're going to be more interested in the Cubs than you are college football.
Yeah, but I mean, that dirty little secret.
But I mean, I don't even think it's close.
No,
you're in.
No, I'd be more
because there's no Thunder. It's football. Or
I think,
baseball.
but someone asked me the other day, and it was pretty obvious because the answer was so quick. My Thunder fandom has diminished my Cubs.
If
fandom
the Thunder
greatly.
wasn't in the playoffs, you would be in on the Cubs right now. You kind of have room for, in my opinion.
Here's my deal. I don't really like Cubs ownership, not because they're cheap. I don't really like them because I didn't like their response to the COVID thing in 2020. I thought it was super woke.
All that going around.
And then I don't think there's any chance in the world they re-sign Kyle Tucker to a deal.
Okay.
And so you can almost feel this backlash coming. That's like, And I don't. I've watched them a few times. They're fine. They're just not particularly interesting.
Yeah. I will.
Right now, Major League Baseball is not interesting to me.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that funny?
I know.
And has been a huge fan my whole life of the sport. And right now, Major League Baseball is not particularly interesting to me. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that at all. Not that. No. When people do the players aren't as good. No, the players are better than they've ever been. Oh. Pitching is better than it's ever been. Hitting is better than it's ever been. The game is elite. I'm just not interested yet. I'd like to be, but I'm not.
Well, I would like to. They finally got the Braves, Cardinals, and Reds blackout stuff figured out around here to where they allowed you to if you would like to, instead of having to go by, like in the past, you would either have to know somebody's login in Atlanta or whatever it was, I did one year. But in the last few years, I'd get the Major League Baseball package subscription.
Yeah.
MLB TV. Mm-hmm. And I would get a VPN, and that's how I had to watch it.
Right.
This year, you don't have to do that.
You do the Bally app or whatever.
Well, it's now FanDom Network.
Oh, okay.
So
that's what I meant.
They did it. Well, it went from Fox Sports to when Bally took it over. That Bally screwed everything up.
Yeah.
A shocker. They didn't last very long. And then now you can subscribe, and you get the Nashville Predators. There's other sports, right?
Yeah.
You get
the quote local end quote.
I
teams.
still you can sell me because I coached. I lived in Jonesboro, Arkansas for 7 years of my adult life. Mm-hmm. I get it. You can coach me up on the Braves. I get the Braves and the Cardinals blackout because that's where most of the people who've lived there are fans. I still don't get the Reds one.
No, it's crazy.
Somebody's got to explain to me why in Oxford, Mississippi, that the Cincinnati Reds are blacked out.
It is an 8-hour drive to Cincinnati from here. I've done it.
Yeah.
From my house to the Reds ballpark is about 8 hours. 8:10, 8:15, but an 8-hour trip. It's the same drive to Kansas City. Why are the Royals not blacked out?
Yeah.
Hell, for what it's worth, I can get from here to Chicago, and I've done it in 8.
How long does it take you to get to Houston?
9.5.
I got there at 8. But I was getting it.
You were moving.
I was.
But I've made it from here to Chicago in 8 hours. Why are the Cubs and White Sox not blacked out? I can be at the White Sox park in probably less than 8 hours. Why is that not? It's this randomness, and you try to ask anybody about it, and there's no one to even consult.
Yeah, I don't
know how North Mississippi is considered the Cincinnati television market.
Yeah, I get the Braves, I get the Cardinals.
Yeah, I would get and begrudgingly get the Nashville thing when in NFL when we get Titans, Falcons, whatever. I get it, fine. But Cincinnati?
Yeah, that's
bizarre to me.
Very, very, very bizarre. But even when you get Sunday ticket or whatever, I've gotten to where that's what I watch. But even Sunday ticket, once you buy it, they're not blacked out, right? You can watch the Falcons, you can watch the Titans, whatever, and they're going to show them anyway. But I don't know. It's just weird. Like it's the only for whatever reason. It's just I don't. It is what it is.
All right, ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Welcome into episode 282 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready, joined by Tyler Siskey here on this Monday, May the 12th, 2025. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day, a day later, to all of the moms out there, the moms in your lives. Thanks to all of them. Hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. I like Mother's Day. So I'm glad we take a moment and appreciate moms. I think they run the show. I think that's important. So
run the show.
I'm glad we do that. I like Mother's Day more than Father's Day.
Yeah.
I don't. When Father's Day rolls around, I'm like, I don't need.
I don't need anything.
But I'm glad we do stuff for moms. It's nice. The kids gave Laura a gift on, I guess, Sunday. Well, they gave it to her Saturday night. She unwrapped it Sunday morning. She liked it. That was good. So we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Neal, I'm rolling with the tropical today. Feeling a little tropical, so rolling with a tropical today. So shout out, it's delicious. But the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and this month, you get truck savings all month on the Chevy and GMC trucks, and you can take over $14,000 off MSRP on the brand new Silverado. Or you can get financing as low as 2.9 APR for 72 months. At Cooper Hyundai, you can get as low as 3.99 APR on the Hyundai Elantra, the Tucson, or the Santa Fe, or up to $2,000 in bonus cash right now at Cooper Hyundai. We're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready and Siskey, County Line Campers. Are you ready? And it's almost here. Are you ready for your Memorial Day weekend adventure? The road trip you've always been wanting to take place begins right at County Line Campers in Gulfport, Mississippi, located right off I-10, exit 38. Make sure you're open 7 days a week. Unbeatable deals, flexible financing, and free orientation with every single purchase. Our team of experts are here to guide you every mile of the way. When you purchase from County Line, you get full transparency on every step of the way with no hidden fees ever. And this month, all McCready and Siskey listeners will receive a free weight distribution hitch with the purchase of any new travel trailer. But wait, there's more, and this is the cool part. Any member of our armed forces or first responders will also receive an additional $500 off any new or pre-love purchase. Make sure you go follow them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and see all of the deals and Miss Destiny's walkthrough videos. And when you think about camping, think about County Line Campers. How about that?
How about that?
All right, let's crank her up. Let's just get in it. You ready to get in it?
Sure.
Let's get in it. A lot of stuff's happened since we had our last show. That right in our world. The first thing, we'll do a little football, and we're going to bounce around a little bit. Derek Carr announces his retirement in New Orleans, leaving the room of Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, and Jake Haener to be the quarterbacks in New Orleans. So the Derek Carr injury, I actually knew exactly what was – a lot of people don't understand it and all that stuff. I had the exact same injury. I know about the same age. Matter of fact, I was about the same age when this happened. I was at Arkansas State, and it was the last real practice before we had our spring game. And so I was over there simulating hole throws. We were working hole throws in a cover two with all the young guys. And I know this is hard to imagine, but I used to be able to throw the football pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our quarterback was a guy named Corey Leonard, and he had a hose for his arm. He had a rocket attached to his arm. And so I was just throwing it basically as hard as I could. I'm just ripping balls and simulating cover two hole throws. And one time I cut it loose, and you know how you roll your ankle?
Yeah.
It felt like my shoulder just popped. And I was like, oh, God dang. And I couldn't pick my damn arm up. And I was like, oh. And I'm not a doctor guy. I don't like going to the doctor and all that stuff. And I just let it be. And I played golf all summer, had no pain. I just couldn't, anything I lifted up, I couldn't get any motion back. Well, flash forward to the fall, I haven't picked up a football since spring practice. And we had a women's clinic, something would bring, and then they wanted to go through like endo or something. And so
Hugh Freeze loved those women's clinics. He did.
Just for the record, we've had women's clinics every coach I've ever worked for. But anyway, I went to pick up the ball. I was like, my GA was out there, and I said, hey, let's see how the old wing's feeling. I picked the ball up, and I went to throw the ball. And we're reporting the next day. I mean, it was July, late July. I picked the ball. I couldn't pick the ball up over my head. I was like, oh God dang, this is a problem. And I got to throw the ball during practice. This is a problem. And so I go to, we had physicals, when you got your new guys.
Yeah.
And so I go see the doc. And he's like, you see this deficit right here? You've completely torn your labrum, and it's rolling down on your bicep.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, okay, so what do I do? He goes, well, you got two options. You can have surgery right now, so I can't do that. He says, or he goes, you're not playing anymore. He goes, we can shoot you up and get you through the season. And so every 2 weeks from August until February, every Wednesday I would go in after practice and I'd get shot. And it was cortisone and whatever else, Toradol, whatever it was. And brother, like
that lets you throw?
Let me tell you something. Not only did it let me throw, I felt like I was 15 years old. I mean, you could just cut it loose. And my GA was Kyle Shipp at the time. He was the head coach at Arkansas Tech. He'd be feeding me the balls I was throwing, and he would almost get nauseous. You could hear my shoulder grinding when I was throwing the ball.
Oh,
you could hear it. I mean, if you ever had like that, you know what I'm talking about, like a noise. And so anyway, we finished the season. I mean, I was throwing the ball as good as I've ever thrown it, hard as I've ever thrown it, and just with no pain. And you get to and then it'd start wearing off, you know, close to that 2 week mark. It'd start wearing off, and you get the shot. And then, because practice Wednesday, you know, Thursday's a different practice. And so you're good. Brother, I went to go get my MRI. And when they gave me my MRI, not only did I have a torn labrum, I had 3 tears in my rotator cuff. And I had, because if you get too many cortisone, that's why they don't give you cortisone shots as much anymore. They used to give us cortisone shots like they were going out of style. Okay. Yeah. And since this thing called medical science, I figured out that that's not good for your joints, a lot of the shots, and it deteriorates. And I had 3 tears in my rotator cuff. So when I had surgery, they ended up putting, I think it was 7 or 8 anchors in for the labrum. And then they repaired 1 rotator cuff and scooped 2. So I had 3 tears in my rotator cuff that I did not have previously. So he said in his quote that when he was ramping up his training for this season, he tore his labrum, and then that surgery was an option, but they were worried about degenerative changes to his rotator cuff. That's exactly what the options are. He's not the first quarterback to ever tear a labrum. I know several that have torn it early in the season and have gotten these shots to get through several, and then have surgery at the end of the season. Not only quarterbacks, but other positions as well. This is not something unusual.
I don't blame the guy from walking away. I mean, he's
either.
Got his health. He's got his money. He's got a beautiful young family.
Brother,
I mean, you know,
he's 34.
Go enjoy your life, man.
He's 34. He's made $1 gazillion.
Yeah, people are going to criticize him. I think they're wrong.
He's had concussion issues as well. So it's not something that this is not a one-off.
No, he's got his health. He's got a beautiful young family. I'm being repetitive, but it's worth repeating. Go enjoy it. You've got generational wealth. Go enjoy it. You earned it.
All right. So somebody asked me. Now, I've been doing this thing on the TikTok lives last few days. So this is what we call reality. This is what our show, I tell everybody, this is what our show lives in. Reality is all over here, right? And this is the stuff that we talk about. It's all over here. This is what our show talks about is reality. Mm-hmm. Fandom, which we're going to talk a little bit about today, fandom is like this, boss. They are blinded out of reality. And they're like, hey, I had some Saints fans. Hey, you think Spencer Rattler can lead the Saints to a championship? Or do you?
No.
And I'm like, guys, I was like, wait, stop. I said what about Tyler Shuck? It's like, guys.
Probably not.
Do you think so we're saying that the Saints, who have struggled, their savior is the 7th-year quarterback out of Louisville. That's who the savior's been of this organization the whole time. No, guys. No, it's reality. No, it's not. And so they got 2 choices. They can either go get one, trade for one. Kirk Cousins is still in Atlanta. They can go get one, or there's a few free agents, but nobody that's really going to win. Or you can they know what they got with Spencer Rattler. Between Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, there were 7 starts between them. I think Rattler started 6 games last year. The Saints were 0-7, by the way, in those 7 starts. They were 0-7. So you see what you got in Tyler Shuck, but he's a rookie. He's going to make rookie mistakes. And so they can either A, go trade for one, or B, just let it ride and start the complete meltdown of the complete reconstruction of the organization.
That's what they should do.
But they're in salary cap hell, so I don't know what they can do besides just try to accumulate draft picks and start completely over.
Austin, thank you for the super chat. He says, all the Saints fans who were happy on Instagram really disgusted me. Carr's a good dude. When he was on, he was on. Don't cheer injuries.
Yeah, Derek Carr was fine. Derek Carr was more than fine. I've never understood the Derek Carr hate ever. I think he's been probably one of the most untalked about quarterbacks in the league for a long time. I think he's just been on bad teams. And everybody, and I get it, but fans associate good quarterback play with wins.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just how it goes. And if you don't win enough games, you're not a good enough quarterback. That's just how it goes. But I get the injury. I feel bad for him. I imagine he'll go ahead and have the surgery now and then shut it down. But he's made a gazillion dollars. I just didn't want to see it end like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like seeing them end like that. But it is what it is. All right, George Pickens. I know you're excited about this one.
I was so excited to hear about this. This.
All right, so George Pickens gets traded from the Steelers to the Cowboys.
Yeah,
and I think the Steelers got a third round pick for him and swapped some fives or something like that. Look, I think this is a win-win for both organizations. Somebody's like, "Oh, who got the better?" I think it's a win-win for both organizations. One, from the Steelers standpoint, they were getting ready to have to pay George Pickens. They just signed DK. All right. So just keep that in mind. They just signed DK Metcalf. They were about to pay George Pickens.
Counter up real quick.
Absolutely.
Hunter makes an interesting thing. Hunter Hall says, nobody in NOLA, referring to New Orleans, liked Carr because he didn't, quote, embrace the city and he didn't win. The didn't win part I get. The embrace the city part, not to get on this topic at all because I don't want to go there. Yeah, I'll go there. Quick. No. The two things are correlated. I think this will be the interesting thing. This will be the interesting thing with the college game in places that don't win. When you have a bunch of players that are only there for a year and they don't win, when they don't, quote, embrace the fan base or whatever. I'm not making fun of you, Hunter, by the way. I'm completely agreeing with you. At the end of the day, New Orleans fans didn't like Carr because he didn't win. Would they have liked him more if he'd come in and been raved about New Orleans culture and food and all of those things and then didn't win? Or if he'd won and still, because he pissed a lot of people off where they were like, hey, what was your first New Orleans meal? And he was like, I went to Chipotle. That pissed people. It pissed a lot of people off. So I kind of wonder if moving forward, this bleeds to the college game where you bring in one-year guys. They don't necessarily embrace you, and then you don't win. I don't know. I'm not implying that this will happen. I'm saying this will be an interesting thing to watch because Derek Carr was only there for a year, right?
Yeah.
He didn't win. He didn't do anything to ingratiate himself into the city of New Orleans with the fans there. Just something to watch. Like, and we'll talk about NBA in a little while. If you watch the NBA playoffs, there's a whole lot of guys that are playing for these teams that have been there for a long time, and you see fans really embracing their guys. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
He was 2 years. 2 years.
2 years,
but Ding, he played 27 games.
Okay.
So year and a half, basically. But I get first of all, I agree with you 1,000%. The problem, or not the problem, the reason I don't think we're seeing a lot of it yet is there's no salary cap, right? And so teams are able to spend more to,
yeah.
But like if there's ever
you can sort of buy a Band-Aid.
Yes, if we get to the point in college where these teams that have won traditionally all of a sudden aren't winning,
yeah,
and they're paying players and they don't embrace and they're transferring all that stuff,
yeah,
100%, I think you're going to see it.
Like when a player doesn't, quote, embrace Alabama tradition,
100%,
and Alabama doesn't win.
Let's say it's a transfer quarterback.
Yeah, that fan base is not going to like that guy.
100%, I agree with you. But look, George Pickens traded the Cowboys again, win-win with DK being there. Look, his targets were going to go down. they play the same spot. They're both outside guys. They're both X's or Z's or whatever. You'd probably make Pickens more the Z and DK more the X. But regardless of what, Pittsburgh's going to run first team, right? So there was going to be less touches. I think Pittsburgh avoided a headache for two reasons. One, Pickens is a vocal guy. If he's not, his performance is definitely affected, and he's a vocal guy if he's not getting his touches. Two is they were going to have to redo his contract. They just got DK there. Pickens is going to want probably similar to DK money, and that wasn't going to happen at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wasn't going to invest that kind of money in two receivers. And on top of that, they get a third-round pick out of it. So it's a win for the Steelers. Now, from the Cowboys standpoint, they've needed an outside guy to go with CeeDee Lamb for a long time. What CeeDee Lamb has done in Dallas in recent years is really remarkable. I think this is going to help both of them. I think it'll help CD and it's going to help Pickens. I think he'll get targets. And if you get Dak healthy, and I think the Cowboys had a good draft. I think they've actually done some moves in the offseason to help themselves out. So I think it was a win-win for both organizations when it comes to that. And you can already see with George Pickens, he's already had some comments on social media and things like that. So again, I think it's a win-win for both organizations. I don't think there has to be one win and one loss, but definitely is good. It's good for CD and it's good for everybody. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. All right, this happened. I think you saw this. This happened middle of the week last week. Did you see Akron get suspended from postseason play because their APR dropped below 930?
Yes.
All right. I am uniquely qualified to discuss this because your boy, this is going to surprise everybody. Okay.
Is Akron a quick UConn?
No.
Okay.
But this is going to surprise you. Your boy was the academic and eligibility coordinator, was one of my byproducts of my youth in coaching. When we didn't have a staff of 875,000 people, that was one of my deals. So I had to deal with all this. All right. So for those that don't know, an APR is academic progress rate. And so it's something that it's been about 20 years. It's been around for about 20 years. And I get the point of it. Okay. I understand the point of it. It's about retention, about players being retained on your team, and it is about being eligible. Okay. And then graduation, all that stuff. So you're trying to keep people on pace to graduate. Great intentions. This thing has done nothing but create a shit show, and then after 20 years, people have found ways around it. And so I want to explain to you why it's really bad for Akron. I totally disagree with this right now, APR, the way it's done. They threw it out during COVID for a little bit. Now they brought it back. Mm-hmm. All right, so the first problem is when APR started, and they said, hey, if 930 is kind of the benchmark, okay? And so what 930 is every player has 4 points a year, okay? So you have a retention point and an eligibility point for both semesters. So if he comes back for the spring and he's eligible, he's a 2 for 2, okay? Over 85 scholarship players, that gives you 24 minuses before you drop below, and they take an average, a multi-year average to do your deal. Where first it started becoming a problem is the first mistake is it allowed, you started giving kids 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 chances when you should have kicked their ass off the team a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Because before APR, if a kid was a problem or he got in trouble or he did something, you saw a ton of dismissals. Hey, his ass is out of here. Okay. Well, now you started, hey, and so when this little thing called the vitamin test, so why a lot of schools' vitamin testing has gotten very friendly. Because you used to be one failed test, you're going to get talked to, and you got like a 3-strike policy, you're out of here. Now there's kids getting 10, 15, 20 freaking chances, and you're wondering why you got problems on your team. So that was one. All right, but here's why it's bad for Akron. NCAA came back a few years ago when all the portal stuff, because people were not, obviously they were leaving. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's where the bad byproducts are bad now. And what they did was they said, okay, if you leave and you transfer to another 4-year institution and you're in good academic standing, instead of being a 4 for 4, you can be a 3 for 3. Well, that's great for the Ole Misses, the Alabamas, the Georgias, all those, because when their players leave, guess what? They're probably going to get a shot at another 4-year institution.
Right.
But some of these G5 teams, if a guy gets let go at Toledo, where can he play? I mean, excuse me, Akron, can he play? So these guys are getting left in the portal at these lower level schools. All these players that are in the portal, they're usually from lower level schools. And so they're getting hit with that, right? So that's one bad deal. But here's the other one. People are manipulating the APR. Ask me how I know. Okay? Legally manipulating it. Somebody found out about 7 years ago that you could go back as far as you wanted to, and you could find players from the 90s, 80s, 90s that may have been 6, 9, 12 hours short of graduation, and you could bring them back and pay for them to graduate, and you would get a bonus point on top of your APR. And so people that have finances, that have nice budgets, they've been searching for all these years. They're finding every player that didn't graduate, and they're calling them up, paying for them to go to school and graduate, and they're banking these bonus points just to stay above that APR. So all these schools that are reporting this APR, like, oh, look, we're graduating players. Now, coaches love it because they get bonuses tied to it. It's like, hell yeah, go call Mr. John over there that's class of 88. He's 6 hours short of graduation. Let's get him. They're banking these bonus points. And so they're looking like they're graduating all these people, and they're not. That's one. Two is this. People are scared about this APR stuff. And so there are so many bullshit degrees getting created in the in FBS right now just to get them eligible so it doesn't mess up their APR. I'm talking about just basically saying, here's a degree. What's it in?
General studies.
I mean, just so many bogus. Yeah. Like you thought it was bad in literally basket weaving days. It's worse right now. Kids are not graduating because when you transfer 14 times, you lose credits.
Yep.
In order to be eligible, you have to so when somebody to get them eligible, you're literally having situations where people are ineligible at places and eligible somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because they're creating bullshit degrees just to basically take anything full of electives. It's created a shit show. So I hate it. And then this is what we're deciding to stand. This is what we're standing on right now. This is what we're doing. Akron, who Joe Moorhead's the head coach, they won the most games they've won in like 8 years last year. They went 4-8. They went like 0 for the first 2 years. He's actually, bringing them out a little bit, and we're going to punish them now. This is what we're standing on. This is what we're standing on.
Yep.
Like, this is what we're standing on. We're going to hammer Akron.
Yep.
Because they don't have the money to go back and bring those players back. That's the problem. They don't have the money to go. They don't have the money to bank these. If you took away the bonus points, I'll bet you 80% of the NCAA would be ineligible. That's what pisses me off is like, because people are able to fund the bullshit to manipulate their score, they're fine. And then people are like, look at our kids, they're graduating. No, fuck, they ain't. They're not graduating.
I mean, it's just kind of, it's another comment on the current state of college athletics.
Such a shit show. It bothers me. It really does. It pisses me off. It really does. Because we've made this thing, everything we're doing now, it's like, we're going to make an example out of Akron. Now, do you think for 1 second that any Power 5 school goes, oh my gosh, we got to get on top? No, they've known this. I'll put it like this. When the portal came into existence in 2018, October of 2018, that summer, everybody started going, hey, we're going to start losing guys. We got to figure out what we're going to do about this APR. And so schools figured out a way to bank bonus points.
Yeah.
And so some people can afford to do it and some people can't. And the system is not designed.
And the proliferation of useless degrees bothers me probably more than the whole APR thing with Akron. Like, Akron's not going to a postseason anyway, whatever. But
they're 2 games short this year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is like, what you're not going to get people particularly worked up about that. But I think if people got a cleaner glimpse into just how meaningless some of the degrees these guys are getting,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, they're just.
And it's not all of them. Let me say that too. There's people
but it's
getting
a lot.
It's a lot though.
It's a lot.
It's probably.
It's the majority.
I wouldn't know if I'd say it was the majority. But it's probably 40. It's probably 40% of your rosters are getting degrees that are useless.
Yeah. I mean, I would go higher, but sure. It's a lot. It's more than it should be.
Well, there's guys.
I mean, it was never
the guys that play. Yeah.
Again, it was never designed to be this way.
No.
So that's
it's frustrating because we've made it we're still like we're hammering people and everybody like literally I asked coaches like not this year, but before this year, like when all this stuff started with all the portal and the unlimited free agency, I said, what about APR? And they were like, bonus points. I mean, people are banking bonus points that'll blow your mind. And this is a football problem. It's a basketball problem. You're not going to have problems with men's golf. You're not going to have problems with Olympic sports.
right.
Really, any female sports. This is a football, and let me tell you somebody else who I think's in trouble. Eventually, it'll be interesting how they count them. I don't know how they're counting APR with the how they break up scholarships in baseball, but baseball's got a problem too coming up because a lot of these kids are being signed and they're signing and they're leaving and going to junior college after 6 months before the season even starts. Well, that's a 2-year institution, not a 4-year. So every one of those kids would be a 1 for 2. And if you're trying to meet from a football roster, you only got 24 misses. From a baseball roster, you got less than half that. So you got 5 or 6. So it doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room for baseball. But again, bonus points. It is what it is. All right. All right. This is another thing that bothered me. This is my bothered section today. Lance McCullers, pitcher for the Houston Astros. You probably didn't see this because you were doing graduation. He's coming back from injury, missed all of last year. He's coming back. He basically had his second start. Okay. Of the season, and he got shelled. The Astros were down 10-0 after the first inning of the Reds on Saturday. I think they pulled him after 6, but they ended up giving 4 more up. I don't know how many of those runs were his, but he got 1 out, and they pulled him. He received death threats directed at his children.
He gave up 7 earned runs in just a third of an inning. He was pulled from the game after throwing just 36 pitches in a game against the Cincinnati Reds.
They ended up giving 3 more up, but it was 10 because I know it was 10-0 after the first. Received death threats directed at his children after the tough start, and the manager comes out and says something, but like it goes on this culture we've been talking about. Something had there are people, and they were saying like if they.
Here's his quote. It's been a tough evening. I understand people are very passionate and people love the Astros and love sports, but threatening to find my kids and murder them is a little bit tough to deal with. So, just as a father, or as a human, I think there have been many, many threats over the years aimed at me mostly, and I think actually 1 or 2 people from other issues around baseball actually had to go to jail for things like that. But I think bringing kids into the equation, threatening to find them, or next time they see us in public, they're going to stab my kids to death, things like that, it's tough to hear as a dad.
There should be people like that should be, there's got to be some kind of.
Social media is a disease.
But that's too much, right? But I mean, obviously,
yes.
But that should be.
But it creates an avenue.
Not only investigated, which they can, trust me, but I'm talking about like charges, and
of course.
They shouldn't even have to ask for his permission. That should be something that when things like that happen, I mean, all this stuff. I mean, like that's again, I've said this before. I'm not the first one ever, but like I signed up for it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All the I understand it.
Same.
Okay, we get it. But my kids didn't. My wife didn't. And so when people say things.
No, when I had all my stuff in 2016, what upset me was not what people said about me or what people said to me. It was to family members.
Yeah.
But look, trying to decide how much I want to get into this because it's not. It always gets misconstrued. I think this is the intersection of the ease and proliferation of gambling mixed with the social media avenue. I think this is the intersection of those 2 streets, and it is not a good place. A lot of people can handle gambling. A lot of people can't. It's kind of like alcohol. drugs, whatever the case, right? There are people who can casually consume alcohol and they're perfectly fine. And there are people who it just creates a highway to chaos. And I think the same thing holds true of gambling. And everybody's got these apps on their phones. And for some people, it leads to gambling on everything. And when their team doesn't win or their bet doesn't cash, they lose their minds. And it's so easy to get on social media and say incredible things. And I think that's just where we are socially.
All right, I won't say that. I bet on games.
At
no point in time would.
But that's not what I said, though. I'm not saying you. I'm saying that most people can handle it. So when people
that's
go,
what I'm saying. I think it's deeper.
I'm not being. Yeah, but I know. But it's my point. But my point is, a generation ago, you had to go to Vegas to bet.
Yeah.
Now you need a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize this upsets a lot of people. It probably upsets people who think about this show, but it's it's dangerous, can't be questioned. It is like walking, it is for you've got 18, 19-year-old kids that can grab a phone, can set up an account, and can bet thousands of dollars they don't have. That is a major issue. And then you get, my opinion, just my opinion, I think it's bad. Okay, I do. And then on the second part of it, you've got social media where you can reach these people, and people are social media has made people desensitized to humanity.
I agree with that.
And that intersection, and it's not everybody who gets on social media is a horrible person. Not everybody who bets on sporting events is uncontrollable. But there are people in both of those things, and this is, I promise you, I don't even know. I guarantee you the people who did this McCullers stuff had money on that game. And so there's insanity. It's made people nuts. Social media, like in the middle of the NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs, college football playoffs, is freak show disastrous. People are insane. You say things about these people that I'd like to think you'd never say to anyone in person, but a lot of these people that live essentially these very, what's the word I'm looking for? You can tell I'm tired. They live lives completely antisocial. I'm not talking about my kind of antisocial.
No, I'm trying to think.
I'm talking about people who never get anywhere. They live from home. They're stuck at home. These are angry. They've lost track of humanity, and it's not.
Everybody's angry.
And and it's not the people that go, well, you never say that to Lance McCullers' face. Well, of course not. But that's not really the point. The point is you don't think of Lance McCullers as a human being.
Correct. And there is a disconnect. I think you hit the hammer on the head. There's a disconnect of humanity on many levels on social media. One is they say things sometimes they don't ever think is going to get seen by that person unless they tag them. But even when you tag them, I mean, some famous people have gazillions of, mentions or whatever. They still may not ever see it, right? But like there's this, sports has created a disconnect of humanity to the point of where people think that they can say or get away with anything. And the second you clap back at them, even what we do, the second you clap back at them, now you're
they lose it. Yeah.
You're being either A, you're being sensitive, or B, or they say, that's not what I meant. Well, the fuck it was what you meant. But they can't handle when you actually clap back at them. So it's just but this right here, when you're starting talking about like that stuff, you're talking about people's kids and things like that. The only like the in person is difficult. Like a lot of times you don't know, like from a football coaching standpoint, a lot of times the fans don't know who they're sitting next to or whatever. And when your family has to hear those things, that's hard. You can protect them on social media a little bit, but that part right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
When they hear it in person.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all people who gamble, nothing. It's not that. I'm saying you have to understand that we have created it's so readily available now. And you combine it with the ability to vent on social media, and then combine it with a lot of young people, and this is our generation's fault. It's not theirs. They don't have social skills, man. They can't communicate verbally effectively. I mean, text.
No,
but they can't compose a complete email. They certainly can't have a face-to-face conversation.
no.
Yet everything's right on their fingertips, though.
Oh, 100%.
And if you don't think just these things in general are addictive, look, I'm addicted.
Oh.
I'm addicted. But I mean, you drive down the interstate and you look at the people who are driving like this.
Oh, it's brutal.
80 miles an hour in a big chunk of steel around other chunks of steel, and they're like this.
That's bad.
And so there's a lot there. But I hope they find who did, and they absolutely can.
Yeah, they can.
And I hope they prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, because that's a threat. You threaten to stab someone's children over a baseball game, we need to figure out whatever it takes to lock those people up.
Yeah. And make an example out of them. But
I was born in 1970, Daniel. I don't know what gen that is. I don't know if I'm X,
I think you're right.
Y,
65
Z.
to 80 X, I think.
I don't know. I never kept up with all that.
Neal, spring is in the air. And so is the perfect time to upgrade your ride. At Kia of Meridian, we've got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for the fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like the K5 or Seltos, we've got it all at prices that will make you say, let's roll. Don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia of Meridian. Our fan favorites are built right here in the US of A, with interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models, fresh deals, friendly faces, fun rides. Come see us at Kia of Meridian, where spring savings are in full bloom. And don't forget to mention McCready and Siskey show, so guess what can happen? You can spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. So give us a call, area code 601-483-6444. I got a DM, by the way, from somebody that said they passed a Kia on the road the other day traveling, and they just out of habit said, spin the wheel when it went by.
You go.
Neal, we're also brought to you by the official RV dealer of McCready and Siskey, County Line Campers. Right there, right off exit 38, I-10 in Gulfport, Mississippi. Do you have a trade? As long as we ain't got to feed it, we absolutely need it. They pay more for quality trade-ins than any big box store down the street. Are you looking to sell your RV? We buy RVs and also have a free consignment program with a guarantee to sell your RV within 90 days. Or Siskey will have to wear a Shedeur Sanders Browns jersey. Don't forget about the accessories and service. They have a huge 6-bay service department that can complete almost any job needed on nearly any RV. If you need warranty repairs, they are the authorized Keystone, Forest River, and Gulfstream repair facility. They will fix your rig even if you didn't purchase it from them. Make sure you go follow them on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and see all Miss Destiny's walkthrough videos and deals. And when you think about camping, think about County Line Campers.
Summer's just around the corner. The folks at Mint Mobile have a hot take. Getting a summer bod is out. Getting your savings bod is in this spring and summer. They want skimpy wireless bills and fat wallets. And with premium wireless plans for just $15 a month, you can have both without breaking a sweat or the bank. You could be saving with Mint Mobile. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile's here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. Bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless. Get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat, breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/MPW. That's mintmobile.com/MPW. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, 5-gigabyte plan required. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full-time plan options available, taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Let's go. All right. I don't know what you saw, what you didn't see, because I know you're busy this weekend. The Rockies fire manager Bud Black
Yeah,
and the bench coach
9-33 or something like that.
starting the season 7-33.
7-33.
It's the worst 40-game start to a season since the 1988 Baltimore Orioles started 6-34. So here, I got some things on this one. So I guess we're saying it's Bud Black. Bud Black is the reason that they're 7-33. This is where it just gets really weird for me. GM Bill Schmidt told the media, like did an interview, tells the media. So right before Saturday's game, he did an interview, said he supports Bud Black. Right before Saturday's 21-0 loss to the San Diego Padres, he said, I still think we have, this is right before the game.
Yeah.
Said, I still think we have time to turn it around.
Yeah.
So he, right before they lost 21-0, they fired him after that. So it's like the famous last words. If you have to get the old voice of support, usually does it well after that. But it's Bud Black's problem.
And something tells me ownership picked up the phone at some point during that game and said, hey.
But did ownership call the right guy? Because Bill Schmidt's been the GM since 2021.
Yeah.
So it got me one. I like to defend coaches when I can. Bud Black's been doing this thing for a minute. Okay, this wasn't his first year managing. He's had 15, 20-year career at managing. He's been around. It's not his first rodeo.
Yeah.
Bill Schmidt, however, has been with the Rockies since 1999 and has been the GM since 2021. In that time frame, since he took over as GM, the Colorado Rockies have lost 171 more games, since 2021.
Yep.
They've lost over a full season more than the Dodgers have lost in 4 years.
Yeah.
They've lost 171 more games than the Dodgers have lost since 2021, and you're in the same division. So, again, is it Bud Black? We're just going to let the GM keep, because, again, Major League Baseball, let's get real here.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball manager.
I suspect the GM, his time is very limited.
We got a draft coming up here in about 2 weeks.
And that's probably why he's not being fired right now, because people have done their draft work. And so you don't want to make it any more chaotic, but something tells me on the flip side of the draft, we're going to see wholesale change.
But, brother, it's bad. Neal, so criteria club in baseball, as we were talking about gambling a second ago, we go against the Rockies a good bit with success, okay? Watch the Braves have played the Rockies, the Padres, the Tigers. A lot of good teams have played them. But it's not it's a lot of effort stuff. So maybe that's what but I'm talking about, Neal, routine fly balls, man. Hitting the ground. You'd be upset at a high school team for playing that bad.
Pittsburgh fired Shelton, and I kind of liked Paul Skeen's answer. He was asked if he was surprised. He said, no. We're whatever we were, the 10 and whatever they were. And he goes, someone's got to pay for it. You're not going to cut all the players, not during the season. I like Bud Black because I hear him on MLB Network all the time when I drive and listen to games or whatever. And good dude. But when you're 7-33, you at least have to send a message to the fans that, hey, we're aware of how bad we are and it's unacceptable. I'm not saying
no. They said that. That was part of the deal.
It's just part of the deal. You can't fire the whole damn roster right there. But look, I hate it because I love Chris Bryant. Love him. Maybe one of my favorite Cubs ever. Part of a World Series team. But they gave him a massive contract, and he has completely been a disaster for them. And I hate it. I was really hoping he would have a renaissance with his career, but he hasn't. And it's hard to get pitching to go there.
Oh, dude, it's a launch pad, dog.
And they've been unsuccessful with some big contracts. They have not drafted particularly well, and they play in a brutal division with the Dodgers, who are a juggernaut,
Padres,
the Padres, who are the next closest thing to a juggernaut without being a juggernaut. The Giants, which are typically well run, and Arizona, which has been in the World Series recently.
Arizona's good.
A solid organization that does draft well. And
literally every team in that organization is a good team this year.
And so
except for them.
So that's a really bad recipe.
Yeah.
How to draw up really being shitty. Colorado checked all the boxes. And that's when you do that, I suspect this was the first of multiple pink slips.
It's bad though. I mean, like it's Neal. I know you haven't watched a lot of Major League Baseball. Probably haven't watched the Rockies very much.
No,
I have, because of Criteria Club, watched a lot more than the Rockies than I've cared to watch. This bad, dude.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
it's bad.
No, yeah. I mean, they committed. They don't have a high payroll. And when you give a lot of it to Bryant, it's a total disaster like that, and it has been. I mean, they're not a good team.
They're right at 100, losing 100 games a year every year. They're going to lose over 100 this year, but they've lost. They went 2 years in a row. They lost 101, 103. And then they fought the year before that was like 90 something.
Well, you're going to play the Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks a ton, and those are all teams that are one's an absolute juggernaut, and three are very good. I mean, I think the Padres are like, if you took the Dodgers, if you said, "Hey, the Dodgers are not winning the World Series," a lot of people go, "Oh, hell, the Padres are winning it." They're right there, and those kind of teams in your division.
Dodgers, hey, write this down. Dodgers will not win the World Series. Dodgers will not win the National League.
Okay.
Write that down.
I hope so, because the Dodgers are already kind of they use the media. And I don't have a problem with it. It's fine. They use the media to tamper with free agents and free agents to be and that kind of thing, and it kind of bugs me a little.
Pitching's gonna get them. Pitching will get them.
Yeah. So, I haven't watched enough to have a educated opinion.
That's my hot take. That's my May hot take. In baseball, that should work out great, right? All right, I want to get some NBA stuff.
Okay,
from my NBA guy, but I got a question for you.
Yeah, I can actually go NBA. I can have educated NBA opinions.
All right,
I've watched more than I should.
All right, this is a half NBA, half other sport thing. I got a question for you.
Okay,
NBA draft lottery is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care as much because your Thunder aren't in it.
Actually, I do.
Oh, you got to pick.
I have a 37% chance of getting the 7, 8, or 9.
Okay. Would
the Thunder?
Who do they have?
They will get Philadelphia's pick if it falls out of the top 6.
Gotcha.
And if it doesn't fall out of the next of the top 6, it gets punted to next year where it will be top 4 protected.
So secretly you're hoping for it to go like 6. So you can just keep bumping up.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if the Sixers got the 6th pick and next year the Thunder get the 5th pick in the draft. That'd be fine.
And here's my question from an NFL guy. I'm an NBA guy. Would the NFL benefit from moving to a draft lottery?
Ooh. I mean, it would be incredibly compelling television.
I mean, do you know what kind of ratings that would get?
It would get massive ratings.
Look, huge.
I think it's good for the NBA. It creates like the Spurs, I think, have a 2.9% chance at the number 1 pick. So if you're a Spurs fan, you watch tonight, just kind of laughing. Like, oh, I go to this site a lot. It's a Carson.
Is that the one that you do the
Tankathon?
The Tankathon. I knew it was something. I can't remember what it was.
So
I remember you and Carson were talking about
if everything goes by chalk, right? It'll go Utah, Washington, Charlotte, New Orleans, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Toronto, San Antonio, Houston via Phoenix, Portland, Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta being via Sacramento, and Atlanta. Those would be the top 14 picks. The lottery is 14 picks.
Okay.
But I can do a Tankathon spin, and Philadelphia goes number 1. So if you're a Sixers fan tonight, you're watching this going, there's a chance that we don't have a pick. And yet there's a chance that we get the 1st pick. There's a world tonight where Cooper Flagg is a Sixer. And there's a world tonight where the Sixers fall out of the lottery because the Thunder get the pick. Both of those worlds exist. Now, that's compelling television. Now, the NBA, the NBA's kind of calendar problem is that this will happen tonight 30 minutes before Game 4 of Boston, New York. So, what I miss?
Hunter got you. He says you're going to have to add an E to this episode because of you today. First time. Hey, we're here for first today.
What did I say?
I don't know.
I'll spin it again. Utah back on top. Philadelphia with the 5 pick.
So they would get that pick.
Yeah.
So it's 7, 8, 9 tonight, and then next year it's 4.
Philadelphia's pick is top 6 protected.
Okay, next year it'll be 4. Top
next
4.
Year's top 4 protected.
What if it's all right? What if they next year? Does it keep going down as years go on?
Eventually, it becomes completely unprotected.
Okay.
Now, for Philly, what you want is you want to keep your pick this year, and then win so much next year that the Thunder have like the 11th pick.
Right. Huh. Who did
but like if you're Dallas tonight, there's a world 1.8%. So here's the odds, people that don't know. Utah, Washington, Charlotte have 14% chances at the first pick. New Orleans has a 12.5% chance. Philadelphia has a 10.5% chance. Brooklyn's 9%. Toronto, 7.5%. San Antonio has a 6% chance. Houston, the Rockets, just eliminated from the playoffs. There's a 3.8% chance tonight that they get Cooper Flagg. Portland, 3.7. Dallas, 1.8. Chicago, 1.7. Atlanta has basically a 1.5% chance because they have 2 very, very small bites at the apple.
Gotcha.
Incredibly like gnat bites. 1.8%.
Still a chance.
No, 0.8% and 0.7%.
Still a chance.
And then the rest of the draft order is determined.
All right. So do you think the NFL would benefit? Because there's 18 teams that don't make the playoffs in football.
Yeah, I mean,
because doesn't baseball do like top 6 or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Baseball just started experimenting with it.
But you look, I don't think
NFL tanks as much, though. There aren't as many. I mean, you see some tanking for the first pick. NBA did it to de-incentivize total tanking.
Right.
Like teams at the end of the season sitting everybody. Like anybody who could possibly make a shot. The year the Thunder tanked. Right, they played a game late in the season, and Lindy Waters III, who plays for Golden State
was the draft that Chet was going to be in,
yeah.
right?
Lindy Waters comes out in a game against, I think, the Lakers and starts making shots. And I'll never forget it. Me and Carson are watching when we get him off the floor. He got to go. And sure enough, Mark Daignault pulled him. I mean, all of a sudden, Lindy Waters, his ankle was just, it hurt. Bad ankle. You're like, I get that you want to play, but dude, you missed the memo. Like, you were tanking. Now, as a Thunder fan, I was like, this is awesome. Let's tank. Let's get the top pick. But if you were watching the game for any degree of integrity, you're like, this sucks. So I don't look, the NFL doesn't need another anything. They're winning everything.
Yeah.
It's all, but yeah, I mean, it would be,
well, it was almost like
the night of the NFL draft lottery would be crazy.
Well, it's like, Lovie Smith. That's why I always say this. If you're a bad NFL team, okay, let's say, because you remember what happened with Houston a few years ago. If you're a bad NFL team and you're in competition for the top pick in the draft, all right, you don't fire your coach before the end of the season. They told Lovie they were going to fire Lovie Smith, and he went for 2 to win the game.
See, I just spun it again, and OKC got the 9th pick. Portland got the first pick. And in this world, Utah is 17-65, and they fall to 5. So imagine this for NFL purposes.
Okay.
I realize I interrupted you. I didn't mean
you're
to.
good.
The point is this would be the part with NFL where you have a team that goes 2-15.
Yeah.
And they have a 17% chance of the first pick in the draft. And they end up picking 7th. Like, people would lose their minds with the collusion.
Well, maybe you just do the top 5, like baseball does. Maybe there's a way. I don't know. I thought about that today. I was like, well, football doesn't have it, but every other sport does. I just thought about that. All right. Moving on, some NBA stuff. I don't know if you saw this or not. This literally broke as I was typing this out. Michael Jordan, the GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing about anybody else. We don't talk about anybody else being the GOAT on this show except for Michael Jordan. All right, Michael Jordan is going to join NBC as a special contributor for NBA coverage starting in October on NBC.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, I did.
Let's go.
NBA dialing, really, really steering back into nostalgia with the song and now Jordan, and they're trying to build the brand, going back to NBC, getting some stuff off of TNT.
They're going to do.
They're going back to more mainstream. They're desperately trying to make themselves more relevant at a time when I think they should, because I don't think the game's ever really been better. That's a minority opinion. If you've watched the playoffs,
playoffs been great.
The playoffs have been great, and the people that do the whole they don't play defense. It's like that narrative has been absolutely squashed in the playoffs.
My only complaint with the NBA, I love the playoffs. My only complaint with the NBA is you used to could count on the guys rolling out 82 games, and now you can't. That's my only complaint.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was they're doing the schedule different too that they used to.
They do. And look,
they're doing all these back-to-back games and all that stuff.
I
get it.
Cleveland is about to get eliminated. And they did it the right way, and everybody played and all that stuff, and
injuries.
And and now you look up and they look a little tired. And but here's the thing, right?
Quick grind.
Last night, when it looked like the Thunder were about to go down 3-1, the thought that went through my mind was, you know what really sucks about this? Is that this will make me less interested in the regular season next year. And the reason is nobody gives a shit what you do in the regular season. Nobody's ever going to – if the Thunder lose to the Nuggets in this series, okay, it's now a 3-game series. If the Thunder lose to Denver in this series, whether it's in 6 games or 7, no one's going to go, well, I'll tell you what, that team had a hell of a year, 68 wins. No, it's not what they're going to say. That's not what they're going to say. They're going to go, see, because I saw it on social media yesterday. They're frauds. See? It's
those mean people.
But my point is that you're judged on what you do in the playoffs.
Agree.
And so you owe it to yourself as a coach, as an organization,
to give yourself the best chance.
To give yourself the best chance to be as healthy as possible, as fresh as possible when you get into the playoffs.
Do you play too many games in the regular season in the NBA?
They've always played 82.
I'm saying, in your opinion.
I mean, maybe. But they play too many in baseball, 162 games.
Way too many.
But the season's built on that. It's about making money. If you eliminate games, you eliminate home gates. You change contract money. I mean,
Yeah. I get it. That's a lot of games. I think basketball and baseball play too many games. I just
spun it again. Oklahoma City gets the 7th pick.
Your business.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Hey, question.
New Orleans gets the 1st pick. San Antonio goes 3rd. I mean, if the Pelicans get the 1st pick, at least you'll know Cooper Flagg's career just got doomed because everything New Orleans touches turns to ash.
I got a real question for you here. You ready?
Yeah.
Serious question. You're going to laugh at me because I don't know. All right. We're doing the draft lottery. We still have ping pong balls? We still do it by ping pong ball?
I'm not. Yeah, they do ping pong balls. But they do it before. They do it before.
So let's say Utah gets the 1st pick. Do they take all of Utah's balls out, or do they leave them in?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because that changes the odds.
I don't think they actually do balls. I think they do
like that.
I think they do a computer program.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's a great question. I don't know the answer.
Because it would change.
I can tell you the night the Thunder got 2nd pick was exciting.
You know what I'm saying? But it changes all the percentages change once you take the balls out.
Yeah. So I guess you would keep going, and if it would pop up Utah again, you'd keep going until you got the right result.
Right. So that would mean that's why it goes. I don't know.
Because Utah can't have 12 picks.
Dumb question. I just didn't know. All right. Got a couple things before we get to and then we'll wrap it up with this. Giannis is open. I quote here.
Yeah.
Open to quote unquote exploring best fits, end quote, outside of the Bucks.
I mean, we're approaching that season where some teams are going to underachieve, lose early in the playoffs, and now the commentary is going to be, oh, you should trade everything you've got for Giannis. I completely disagree. If I'm the Rockets, I'm not trading away my young base for Giannis Antetokounmpo. If I'm the Thunder and I lose to Denver, I'm not trading all of my assets for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Because the package would just have to be Paul's.
Yeah, and it's just
big.
Just what are you doing? Why? He's a ball dominant big. So where are you putting him? You're going to put him with Houston, and you're going to stunt growth of. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to.
It's almost like if you're the Bucks, do you want You want to, right? Don't you think this would help the Bucks be a better team?
To trade him?
Yes.
If
somebody's willing to dump.
If they're willing to commit to a process. If you're looking for a quick fix in Milwaukee, you should just keep Giannis and try to put something else around him to help. I mean, they had some bad luck this year with the Lillard injury.
He's 30. So you got, what, 5 years probably?
Yeah. And, I mean.
that you know of?
But, again, he wants to be an on-ball player. He's not an efficient player. He's a great player. He's a great player. But I don't know that it just fits any system.
Yeah, I would.
You know, I mean, like, people do the Thunder thing, and I'm like, so what do you do with Shea?
Yeah.
What do you're gonna the Thunder have, and they proved it in the fourth quarter yesterday when they got back to themselves and moved the basketball. Who made the big shots in the fourth quarter for the Thunder? Other than Shea, it was Cason Wallace, it was Alex Caruso, and it was my guy Aaron Wiggins. Bench guys. 3 guys came off the bench and made the 3 biggest shots of that game because they played their system. You bring Giannis in, those dudes stop developing. It's ball sticks.
That's what I'm saying. You almost
I'm the people that do a lot of this, and it's national people. Oh, here's where he would fit. It's like, no, he doesn't fit there at all.
Again, not an NBA guy anywhere remote and like you are as far as following it, but it just seems to me there's no fit on either side because the Bucks would have to get so much in return.
Yeah.
And who's going to be willing to do that? That's the question.
I mean, people talk about the Spurs putting Giannis with Wemby.
Would he have to be part of that package?
I would be incredibly hesitant to do anything at all in San Antonio that eliminated the full path for max growth for Victor Wembanyama. And if that means it takes me another couple of years to become a true contender, so be it. That's the only thing about Giannis is you bring him in, that's a lot of oxygen out of the room. I think he ends up staying in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see it being. I mean, I'm dead wrong, but it just seems like to be a little bit too much to ask on either side. But all right, playoffs where we're at right now. OKC and the Nuggets 2-2. I told you before the show I was thinking about you there in the third and fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
It was a must-win, obviously, for OKC.
Well, I mean, people have asked all year, like, what does this team have weaknesses? And I'm like, yes, they have 2 weaknesses. One, they're young. It's a legitimate thing in the NBA.
You can see it, but I think they're getting out of it. I think.
I thought yesterday was huge, and then 2 was that sometimes their outside shooting fails them. And look, shame on the NBA for this.
Which part?
This part. Shame on the NBA for putting TV schedules in front of what's best for the players. You saw in the Denver-Oklahoma City game yesterday 2 exhausted teams that had played a late game on Friday night. They did not start until almost 10 o'clock Central, 9:30 Central. They played an overtime game and then turned around and played a Sunday
mid-afternoon
1:30 Mountain Time game. I mean, that is, as Chet Holmgren said after the game, that is as close to a back-to-back as you'll get in the NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs. That was wrong. Tony Jones, who does a great job covering NBA for The Athletic, mostly covers Utah, Denver, those teams. He's covering the series, obviously. And he said it was borderline dangerous. And I agree. The playoffs are super intense. That's not enough rest between games. Those 2 teams couldn't make shots. Everything was short. And then all the commentators go, bricks, bricks, bricks. It's like, okay, look at the teams over the course of a season at their percentages. Look at the percentages today. Are you saying that everyone's choking?
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Jamal Murray just suddenly the moment's too big. Jamal Murray's won a title.
Do you think?
I mean, this was a scheduling snafu.
You think it should go 2 days between?
No, but they should have a full 48 hours. If you're going to play the late game,
it should
on
be the
Friday
late game
night,
on Sunday.
Then it could have been a later game on Sunday. At least let people have a few more hours to get their legs underneath them. But for the Thunder, I thought that was it was obviously a huge win. In a world where they make the finals or win a title this year, I'll point back at the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter of Game 4 and go, that's where they won it, because they blew Game 1, they blew Game 3, and now they showed some mettle. Now they were in this exact spot a year ago. Game 5 at home against Dallas. They'd gone to Dallas, gotten 1 of 2, brought it back to OKC, and then really played a poor Game 5 and lost fairly handedly, and then lost a last-second Game 6 in Dallas to get eliminated. So it's a big moment for them. But everyone's doing this thing about it's social media stuff. It really bothers me. Like the reaction against Cleveland today. Everything that we do in social media is about the negative. Nothing's about, hey, how about Indiana? Nothing's about Aaron Gordon in this series has made 2 monstrous shots that if either one of those shots don't fall, the series is over.
Yeah.
I mean, no one gives credit to David Adelman, who's an interim coach, for the job that he's done kind of shuffling the deck. I did think yesterday in the fourth quarter, you finally started seeing the two teams have completely different depth situations. OKC is deep. Daignault's not afraid to go to his bench. He played the other Jalen Williams, the Arkansas Jalen Williams, big minutes against Jokic. He did really, really well. Wiggins played a lot of minutes. Caruso, Isaiah Joe got some run. Wiggins, etc. Denver doesn't have that advantage, and I did think in the fourth quarter you started seeing fatigue.
Agree. Timberwolves at Warriors tonight, Game 5.
It's a shame Steph got hurt.
Is he out again tonight?
He's out probably till Game 6. If then, I'm not sure it can get to 6.
Timberwolves seem a little bit much.
Well, without Steph,
That's
Minnesota's having to look. They're having to really steer into Jimmy Butler to score. They're having to really depend on the defensive end, and they were really good defensively the other night, but it's a big ask.
All right, you talk about Pacers and Cavs just a second ago.
I mean, listen, the NBA players in an anonymous polling for The Athletic said that Tyrese Halliburton was the most overrated player in the league. He has answered that.
He took it personal.
He has answered that. And not only that,
and his dad,
Pascal Siakam, has been very good. They've just gotten a lot out of their guys. They've played. If you're kind of old school,
is that series over?
Yeah,
3-1.
Well, if Mitchell's MRI comes back where he can't play, it's done. Cleveland, will do. People will call the Cavs choke artist, and they're going to do all that stuff that's already starting. Sometimes luck matters. Sometimes injury timing just matters.
It does in all sports. All right, Knicks Celtics. Is this the biggest game of the Celtics season tonight? They're down 2-1.
It's the biggest game of the Knicks season tonight. Boston can come back from 3-1.
You think?
Yeah. New York can't lose 2 at home and win this series. Here's the thing with Boston. All the old school guys. And look, I'm old school. I grew up when the Celtics were Robert Parrish and Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson and Bill Walton. And I mean, that's as old school as you get. Modern Celtics.
He took it back.
This team is built on analytics. They shoot the 3. They shoot the 3. And if they have nights where they shoot the 3 20%, well, yeah, you can lose. And everybody goes, they need to drive more. That's not how they're built. They are built to create openings and shoot the 3. And when they shoot it the way they shot it in Game 3, they're going to win. And I think Boston's going to the finals. I do. I think Boston's going to the finals. But if the Knicks are going to have a chance, they have to give themselves 3 bites at the apple by winning tonight. If they lose tonight, Boston's winning the series. I think Boston's winning the series anyway. That being said,
so you're saying
Jalen Brunson's awesome. And if the people that hate the NBA and they're no good players, there's no good rivalries, blah, blah, the same crap. You don't think Boston, New York is a rivalry?
Oh, yeah.
You think Jalen Brunson's a boring player? Are you out of your mind? Jalen Brunson, if you were to cut him, his blood would pour out on the table spelling the word win. He wins everywhere he ever goes. He's an absolute beast. He's just a stud. They came back from 20 back twice in this series to win games. That dude wills his way to win.
So what you're telling me, if I can get just tell me if I'm wrong here, because I am one of those betting assholes. If the Celtics lose tonight and the Knicks go up 3-1, you be okay with your boys sprinkling a little bit for the Celtics to win the series?
Yeah, of course.
At massive plus money.
Two games at home?
I bet you can get plus 400 on it.
Ooh, I bet you couldn't.
You don't think?
But
Down 3-1?
If you did, I would sprinkle a lot on it. I like Boston to win the series.
Here's what's going to happen. If Boston loses tonight and they go down 3-3, I'm going to text you what the number is, and you let me know.
If it's anything over 250, you should jump at it.
Okay. All right. I'm circling massive there.
I mean, look, I think Indiana's going to win the series now. I think Cleveland's going to be out of juice.
Agree.
I think Minnesota's going to beat Golden State.
I think OKC gets
I will say what I said. I'm a don't jinx it person. I said yesterday that I thought whoever won Game 4 of the OKC series would win the series, and I suspect the Thunder have figured something out.
Well, you've got a 3-game series with 2 of them being in OKC.
Denver is just a team that has, and you've seen it in the series, they have a lot of toughness. They have championship pedigree. They have guys who have put a ring on their finger. You're a sports guy. Winning a championship is hard.
Staying on top is hard.
And it is, but getting there is really hard. It takes a certain pedigree to win. And Jokic looks tired.
Well, hell, they ran off a 7-game series and had less than, there was another one. They went off a 7-game series, had less than 48 hours to play game 1.
Yeah. And the fatigue is starting to show for them. They don't have a lot of depth, but they have look, man, I mean, I'm cheering against these guys so hard right now, it hurts. But like Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, Nikola Jokic, obviously.
How old is he? 30 what? 2?
31, maybe. I mean, MPJ's out there playing with – he can't get his jersey on and off by himself. You mentioned shoulders, Derek Carr. Michael Porter Jr. is out there playing right now with a shoulder that if this were the regular season, they wouldn't even think about him playing. He would miss a month right now if this were a regular season to heal. He's out there. Before games, they have to have people put his jersey on for him. So of course he's ineffective, but he's out there playing because they don't have any options. I mean, Russell Westbrook's been good and bad, hot and cold in the series, but like you can't question Russell's effort. I mean, Denver. Anybody who goes Denver has no chance, they just blew it. No, I mean I wish, but no. I mean Denver's got a chance. They got a real chance. They're still really, really good. And I if you told me this thing ends up going 7, I'd buy it.
I'm going OKC, Minnesota, Pacers.
And if we get that, I think we're going to
wait on that one.
I think if we get that, I think we'll get the finals that I actually predicted in 10 Weekend Thoughts back in October. I had Boston over OKC in 7 back in October, and I still think that's probably where we're headed. But look, the playoffs are hard.
Winning's hard.
And people forget because we do this thing about Jordan. We do this romantic thing about Michael Jordan.
I am romantic.
And he was great. And he's the GOAT.
I'm guilty.
But
guilty as charged.
But you know what? Before he was the GOAT, he lost playoff series to Boston. He lost playoff series to Detroit. That one of those series against Indiana was 7 games and was close.
Knicks were close too.
Went 7 with the Knicks when Patrick Ewing and them almost got him. You know, they had some L's in those series.
Starks.
Yeah, John Starks, Charles Oakley. People forget because we do this thing. It's one of I watch social media and I'm like, okay, so you pick a team to win in 6. That means they're going to lose twice. And the instant reaction to losses is wild. Can you imagine in the day when Jordan and them lost to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals in a game, when they lost to Utah, when they lost to Phoenix, they lost NBA Finals games, Tyler. He actually lost games. No team has ever gone 16-0. They've never done it. Back in those days, Jordan's fraud. C's fraud.
It would have happened.
Yeah. It would have happened. Social media is crazy.
If there's no MJ, here's my last question. We got to go. My last question. If there's no MJ, Neal, How many titles does Reggie Miller have?
At least 2.
They were good, dude.
They were really good twice.
They were good.
He had 2 iterations of those teams. One with Rick Smits and Mark Jackson and those guys, and then the other one with oh God, the guy that got suspended in the Palace, Artest.
Ron Artest.
They were good teams. Those were good teams. Reggie had a team where he was a young guy, and Reggie had an iteration of the Pacers where he was the vet.
The Knicks probably got a couple too, huh? There's no MJ.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Ewing probably gets one. Sure, as close as they were. The Rockets may have gotten a third with Hakeem.
Huck'em. The Jazz.
Utah would have almost certainly won at least one with Malone and Stockton. Yeah, I mean, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley would have gotten one in Phoenix, no question.
Chris Mullins, that was the guy we're looking for.
Chris Mullins was the first iteration. Yeah, that second iteration was a young, athletic.
Yeah,
Pacers
Jermaine
team.
O'Neal was on that.
Jermaine O'Neal.
That was the second one.
Yep.
They were good.
Reggie
man.
Miller had a hell of a career. It's why I always I push back on the whole if you don't have a title, you're a bum thing. Man, it's hard to win a title.
Yeah, the Pistons, I think he got, but I think the Pistons were damn near run out of time by the time the Bulls started. Like, I think they were almost done by the time when they actually won it.
They got him a couple of times.
Yeah, they got it. Was it 88 and 89 or 89,
I think so.
89,
Yeah,
90,
got him a couple of times when they had Isaiah and Joe Dumars and Bill Laimbeer and Dennis Rodman and John Sally and those were
Rodman, Thomas, Sally,
Mark Aguirre, Adrian Dantley. Those were
some dudes.
Those were talented teams. I mean, the Bulls. My point is the Michael Jordan rise to where he was, which is unquestionably the GOAT. It did not happen. It was linear.
Yeah.
It took time. They did lose playoff series.
I did this on a live because of the LeBron people. I did this on a live. I pulled up stats and all that stuff. Do you know Michael Jordan he got hurt a year and had the retirement year? Do you know he led the NBA in scoring his last 10 full year, for a 10-year stretch there for the Bulls when he was a full season guy. He led the NBA in scoring, and I think LeBron's done it once.
Led the NBA in scoring, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, no,
but he's played for 864 years.
Yeah, the who's the GOAT thing is not really a question.
I think it was John Sally. I saw this I think it was John Sally. It may have been somebody else. So if y'all saw the clip, forgive me. I saw a clip on TikTok where they were talking about the GOAT. Who's the GOAT? He said if you break it up in 10-year segments, he goes, it's hard. He goes, like, MJ was the best player for a 10-year segment.
Sure.
Then it went to Kobe. Then it went to LeBron. And now it's probably Giannis.
No, now it's Jokic.
You think would you take Jokic or Giannis?
Jokic. Yeah. Like the game he had in game 1 against Oklahoma City.
He's a great player.
He's done that for so much. I mean, he's special. He can do everything. I mean, the Thunder, if you're watching that series, it's been a clinic, and watching the Thunder throw so many looks at him. They throw everything at him. They have absolutely worn him out. And he's still a beast. And every time he takes a shot, you go, oh, shit. He's still scary as hell.
I still had to go Giannis, in my opinion, just because of how freaking athletic he is. That's just, they don't make him like that. He was built in a factory somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm not minimizing Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm just saying I think all in all, Nikola Jokic is probably a better player. Hey, we've been brought to you by our friend Andy Ludicky. He is with myperfectfranchise.net. If you're wanting out of corporate America, you're looking for your next business venture, get in touch with my guy, Andy. Diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He'll work with you to help you find a franchise or business that fits your DNA. He's an awesome guy, loves to help others. Just give him a call. 100% free. It's a no-brainer for those of you wanting to get into business ownership. He'll even do an NIL deal for your favorite college baseball teams, big college baseball guys. So Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, even Tennessee, after the way they acted over the weekend, Vanderbilt, whatever the case may be. Do a deal with Andy. He'll donate $500 to $1,000 to your favorite college baseball teams. NIL. It's Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. Also brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it really, really well. They've got Dr. Juice, Ghost in the Machine, Envy, Canebrake, and so much more. Wherever you look for beer, look for Parish Brewing Company. You won't regret it. We'll get to life advice next week. On Thursday.
I forgot. That's my bad.
But that's okay. I went long on basketball. We started talking basketball. I got excited.
Yeah, to your outlet. It's been a few shows.
Yeah, I can't talk about it on the other show. It makes people mad. So I don't. We did not touch the NBA today.
Really?
Didn't lay a finger on it. Life advice, when we bring it to you, it's brought to you by our friend Cole Walters, State Farm Insurance. Cole, licensed in auto, home, life, health, business, and pet insurance for the whole state of Georgia.
Too busy moving goalposts?
Yeah. Well, he's not, but some of the people are. Contact Cole at 706-525-7850. You can also find him online at ColeWaltersInsurance.com.
We're also brought to you by Kia of Meridian. I saw Kia Meridian over here on TikTok a second ago. Spring is in the air, and so is the perfect time to upgrade your ride at Kia of Meridian. We've got the coolest whips and the coolest people to help you drive off in style. Whether you're looking for the fuel-efficient K4, a spacious Telluride, or something sporty like the K5 or Seltos, we've got it all at prices that make you say, let's roll. Don't let the tariffs scare you away from Kia of Meridian. Our fan favorites are built right here in the U.S. of A. with interest rates as low as 1.9% on select models. Fresh deals, friendly faces, fun rides. Come see us at Kia Meridian, where spring savings are in full bloom. And don't forget to mention the McCready and Siskey Show when you can spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5 and Xbox, a TV, and more. So give them a call at Kia Meridian, area code 601-483-6444.
We will be back on Thursday with another edition of McCready and Siskey. Until then, take care.